The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
The big kahuta's in the house, Nat.
Gone straight to the top. Welcome back. For the first time since he was re-elected, the Prime Minister.
Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, my second trip to WA, though, since the election.
I know, we're a bit
dropped in here.
But you didn't come and say hello
I
to us.
know. Sorry
Were
about
you
that.
down at Gage Roads? That was
during the last week of the election campaign. And I've got to say, I've been to a few craft breweries in my time.
It's a good one, isn't it?
That's not bad, is it?
That is a ripper.
I know, and then like
It is
a massive ship
huge.
will go past.
It is huge.
Yeah.
And we got a really good reception there, I've got to say. I was there with Josh Wilson and we came in and we had with us at that time all the travelling media bus.
the pack.
And they all piled out of the bus. We thought we'll take them there at the end of what was a long day. We started... I forget where we started, to tell you the truth. We flew into Bustleton, though, from somewhere, and then went to Collie, and then went up, dropped into Mandurah and handed out there for a while, and then went to Freo to Gage Roads at the end of the day. You've got to give the journos a bit of reward at the end of the day.
But after a long day for you, did you just devour your first beer?
Well, I at the time, of course, was zero alcohol. So they have a good zero alcohol beer that they didn't have it on tap.
Boy, I think, by the name of it.
So you went zero alcohol all through the campaign. Is that what you did?
Well, from January 1.
Yeah, right.
So just part of the discipline
What about
that
now?
you do.
Not anymore then?
No. The lid's off, but
we should talk about your victory because
still pretty modest, but it was great.
Yeah.
But I pulled beers there,
Yeah.
and that was pretty good. I'm not sure that the owners were happy though, because I pulled beers, gave them to punters, and of course didn't take money.
No.
Yeah, freebies.
'Cause,
What are they going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
What are they gonna do?
They got the PM pulling beers. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, what more do you want?
It's a small price to pay.
It was good fun. They were a great atmosphere, though.
Yeah,
I think it's
a
one of
really
the
spot. Yeah.
best places I've been to.
Yeah, now, congratulations, because an election victory that, I mean, 6 months ago was not looking likely at all. The polls had Peter Dutton in front as preferred Prime Minister. But you were very confident. You told us off air, we will win.
Yeah.
And that was early on in the campaign. And you said that with absolute conviction. So what was it that you thought you had the edge?
Because one we had a plan, and I knew what our plan was. And I think it was very clear to me that the opposition didn't have a plan, didn't have policies, hadn't done hard yards. Peter Dutton had done interviews with just a couple of radio stations and a particular late-night TV network, speaking to the crowd that were always going to vote for him anyway, but weren't talking to Australians about issues that they were concerned about. And that gave me confidence.
Yeah.
He never addressed the National Press Club in the entire time that he was leader of the opposition. He avoided press conferences in Canberra, and they didn't have any alternative policy. They had grievance, they patched in there, and Australians have been doing it tough like people right around the world with global inflation. But I knew that when we pointed out we've done the following on cost of living, cheaper childcare, free TAFE, the energy bill relief, the support that we've given, the tax cuts for everyone, that we could say, we've done this. We recognise people have done it tough, but Peter Dutton opposed everything. Yeah, we get that you've got it tough, but it would have been a lot tougher if the Liberals had had their way. And I think that put us in good stead, and we had a plan for further tax cuts, further relief as well to make a difference to people. We had the 20% off HECS debt, and they were opposing everything.
Yeah.
And so I was always confident that the Australian people would,
well, they did
when they
in a
were faced with the options.
Yeah.
I know what it takes to go from opposition to government. I know how hard I worked. I know how hard the entire team worked to put forward that coherent plan, and I just didn't see it.
It was mixed
from the other side,
really.
Yeah, and the work from home stuff was a mess.
The backflipping
they
on
got
that
themselves in a position of supporting higher taxes, bigger deficits, and having savage cuts. I'm not quite sure how you managed to get those three things, but They did. And on nuclear as an example, like nuclear is just an absurd policy for the economy to say we're going to stop the rollout of renewables and we're going to go and give you something that'll give you 4% of Australia's energy needs in the 2040s.
Yeah.
Like that's not coherent. It doesn't stack up. And if it did stack up, the private sector would invest in it.
Albo, I know it was a big win. I know you said back to work on Monday straight after that.
And I have been.
I know you're working hard, but did you take any time to put your hair down? How did you celebrate after that moment?
I was at my local Rissole, the RSL at Canterbury Helston Park. It was a bit of a loose night from the troops there. There were hundreds and hundreds of people. It was nice. And
So that's when you broke the drought, the no drinking drought?
yeah, absolutely. I had a beer on the night of May 3, but it was nice too because some of the mates that I grew up with.
Yeah.
In Camperdown, they all came along.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful to see.
Did you get a bit loose?
People there? No, because I
shoeies?
had to do. No, none of that. I don't get
Have
the
you done a
shoey
shoey,
thing.
by the way?
No, I don't get it.
Get the shoe.
I don't get it. It's not going to happen. I'm really neat. You've been to
Yeah,
the
I know,
lodge.
but everyone gets caught up in the moment at some
I'm
stage.
really neat. No chance of me ever doing a
shoey.
shoey. None.
All right.
We're going to keep this. I reckon
yes.
at some stage, someone will get you, you know?
Nah, it's not going to happen.
Daniel Ricciardo might be over at the lodge at some stage and you'll do a
Nah,
shoe with
I
him.
would just find it, disgusting.
You get a new shoe. You can get a new shoe, so it's not.
If it
And
was
then
a
you're
fresh
ruining
shoe.
a shoe.
Or
And-
you're really utilising that shoe for a fun purpose.
It's sacrilege. You know, a beer should be in a glass or a can.
Doesn't have to be
Not in
beer.
a shoe.
Yeah, shoe.
Can be 0% beer.
Yeah.
Oh, even worse.
What's the point of that?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you were just talking, Ross just mentioned back to work for you, which you are. You know, obviously we're noted that there's a few states putting their hand up about the GST situation. Their
As
funding
always.
model, yeah, and I understand they've racked up some serious debts, particularly Victoria and
Sure.
New South Wales. So, how are you going to deal with that?
Well, the thing about the GST is that WA's got its guarantee and that's in place, but there's also no state worse off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're getting what they would have got if
Anyway.
that WA deal wasn't in place.
So they've
Pretty
got
simple
nothing
that
to complain
way.
about.
Is it smoke and mirrors? Sorry, Nat. Because it seems it comes up regularly, right?
Yeah.
It comes up regularly. So is it just
It
the state
does,
going,
look.
we need to create some noise to take away
look,
from someone's...
state premiers will always put forward ideas which revolve around a very simple principle. They want more from the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
And Roger Cook, I'll meet with later today. I'm sure he will have a proposal
list.
for more things from the Commonwealth.
Yes.
That's just the way
The
it is.
nature of
But
it,
I get on well with all the premiers and chief ministers. I deal with them respectfully. We have put in place really good agreements on fairer schools funding is a significant one. On skills development over 10 years, we have the domestic family violence packages. That's a $4 billion arrangement that we have with states and territories. We've got a housing deal for 1.2 million homes being built. So over our first term, we were able to really deliver significant reform. There's more to do this term. We've got to nut out a health agreement, further work to do on the NDIS, but we'll get there, and we'll get there cooperatively.
Ross was asking you earlier on when you walked in about, have you ever slept in and do you have alarms set?
I said I woke up this morning and my alarm went off and I thought Prime Minister's in.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a busy dude.
Absolutely.
What happens if he doesn't set his alarm or he misses his alarm? And you said?
Yeah, no, I've never
done it.
Never slept
You've
in.
never slept in. You've never rolled over, turned that alarm off and gone back to sleep.
Never done it.
That's a good Prime Minister right there.
And it's,
Never.
That's why. That's why he's Prime Minister.
Yeah, you get that discipline. Like this morning, I woke up before the alarm, I've got to say,
Well done.
because I'm here in WA, so I'm still on East Coast time.
Yeah, that helps, doesn't it?
So one of the things that I do is I tend to operate on Canberra time, regardless of where I am.
Yeah.
So, the risk of letting your listeners know how nerdy I can be, I was in bed at like 8 o'clock last night.
Yeah, I respect
basically.
Perth time or Canberra time?
Perth time.
Okay.
Perth time. I'm not that nerdy.
You went the Lone
checking.
Ranger.
Yeah, well,
wrong with that.
you guys have the same.
Yeah.
What happens if you just don't turn up?
Well, somebody would ring.
Yeah. We
So
got
one of our-
contingencies.
yeah.
And we'll say, surely you got a detail of many people, when
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've got security, but they tend not to. They've never had to knock on the door. I don't know what they do. I'll ask them.
Yeah. Well, you test them out.
What would you do?
Well, you knock on the door. Do they have like a hotel key to your room?
Yeah, I haven't opened a door for 3 years. It's true.
Or driven
It's
a
true.
car, Ross.
Or driven a car. It actually makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go into a room before
Yeah.
I do. They
Yeah,
go
as
into
it
a
should
lift
be.
before
You're
I
a world
do.
leader. Yeah.
They do all of that. It's all a part of checking.
Yeah.
They do
you
it
know.
here. Like, we feel a little bit offended that they're checking that. Are they all good in here?
Oh, yeah. No, they would. They
Yeah.
pat you down, do all that.
Smells
You
nice.
look like
Ross
a
asked
dangerous
for that.
fella.
Yeah, he asked for it.
Hey, Albo, the one thing that we did see you do is you went to the Pope's funeral.
I did.
Now,
it was,
talk to us about that.
It was one of the moments of my life.
Yes,
It was
because
just
you are a Catholic.
extraordinary.
So,
yeah, and you had that sense of history and St. Peter's Basilica. You know, I went there when I did the backpacking around Europe thing in 1988, a long time ago. And you go to Peter's and you queue up and you go to the Sistine
Yes,
Chapel
and
and you
take
do
a
all
sneaky
that.
photo, even though you're not allowed to.
You
Yes.
do all of that. And this time round, to be there at the inaugural mass
Yes.
with world leaders
Yes.
sitting there was extraordinary. And St. Peter's is such the church itself,
Yeah.
the basilica, is so big.
Yeah.
And it's just daunting, really. You
Yeah.
walk in there. So we had the mass, and then afterwards I met the Holy Father, Pope Leo, and then
Sorry, Albo, cutting you in there. How do you address him when you met him?
I addressed him as Holy Father.
Yeah, Holy Father, that's what you
And
And they'd say, "G'day, I'm Albo."
fancy a shoey. No.
well, we then the next day I had one-on-one a papal audience,
Yes.
and there's a whole thing with the Swiss guards, and they
Yeah.
march,
And
and
they've
it's
got funny
a whole lot of
outfits
pomp
and-
and
yeah,
ceremony, and walking through the areas that are obviously private areas there. Of the Vatican was extraordinary. There's artwork everywhere. There's frescoes. Like it's an
What an
extraordinary
amazing experience.
And then we were supposed to meet for 15 minutes was scheduled, and we had 3/4 of an hour.
What are you
And
talking about with the
We
Pope?
talked about
Shooting the breeze.
everything. We talked about the state of the world. We talked about
You're one of the few
inequality.
people since he's been Pope who's heard him speak English, I imagine, because he did everything in Spanish or Italian.
Well, he did
Yeah.
the mass. He did Spanish, Italian, Portuguese,
Amazing.
English. I think he did German as well. He did a whole range of
Wild.
languages.
Yes.
That was inclusive.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that he, following on from Pope Francis, who wanted to modernise the church
Yes.
to make it more inclusive. And so it was an incredible meeting. We discussed
Yeah.
everything. I don't
Yeah.
think we're
Sport.
allowed
You
to
talked
talk
about
about
sport,
all
didn't
the
you?
details.
He's
but
a big sports fan.
He's a tennis guy, as am I. And we talked about the church. We
Yeah.
talked about the election here
Yeah.
in Australia, the state of the world, and some of the conflicts that are going on around the world,
Yeah.
and what he wanted to do as the leader of
Yeah.
the world's Catholics. It was a real honour and a privilege, I've got to say. And
Amazing.
I took along my mum's rosary beads.
Oh, good on you.
Albo,
And
that's beautiful.
gave them to him to do a blessing.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget him, just us sitting like we are here with him with the rosary beads and
Yeah.
giving them a blessing.
actually beautiful.
It was a real moment
Yeah.
for me.
Do you
Amazing.
feel the holiness? I don't know if that's
Oh,
a weird
yeah.
word to say, but you're standing.
Yeah, you feel that sense of, it was a spiritual moment.
Yeah.
We
Spiritual
talked
moment.
about spirituality and values, and, part of my values of social justice and compassion. And during the election campaign, I think one of the key moments in the campaign was during one of the debates where I said, kindness isn't weakness.
No.
This whole
a good
macho
message.
stuff
Yeah.
that was going on out there, and there's a bit of that now too, the sort of muscling up, that goes on. Kindness and compassion's a strength, and that's part of my values. It's part of what I was raised with by my mum, and through, I guess, that connection with Catholicism and caring about others.
Yeah, amazing.
Oh, so interesting.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that too.
Yeah,
what an extraordinary experience.
That was great.
It's always a pleasure to have you back in the house.
You didn't forget us either.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
You will indeed.
Excellent. Thanks, Albo.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Coming off the back of a long weekend, and when you've got a situation like that, you want to make the most of your time, Nat, don't you?
Yeah, well, good parents do things with their families.
Fun stuff.
Fun things, isn't that right, Amy?
Yes, we do.
Welcome to the show, producer Amy.
So yesterday,
Yeah.
we like going for bushwalks, which we do often.
And
Yeah,
you know what
this
the
time
best
of
thing
year.
about walks is, bushwalks in particular? It's cost effective.
Well,
Free.
hence why we go, Sean.
Yes.
Which my husband loves. So yesterday we decided to do it's called Ship Road Walk.
Great
Road walk.
enunciation
where
on
you-
ship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where you can actually download and like photograph like the walk trail information.
Yep.
Yes.
It also gives you a map.
Whereabouts is this up? I'm guessing the hills
Like
somewhere.
Kalamunda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So part of like the Bibliman track.
Oh, okay.
And all, signposted and stuff like that.
Yes.
So we're like, we'll just do this one. It's only
sounds
distance? It says 3.8 to 4 kilometre walk.
Okay, so the kids won't complain
Yesterday.
too much?
Nah, they're fine. They've done longer, but we're like, the weather dependent. Anyway, Alex was like, cool, let's get going. And I had the notes on my phone and the map. And sure, it's easy. The first thing, go through the White Gate on Ship Road. Proceed
Right.
along Ship Road in a northerly direction.
Okay.
Easy.
Simple as. So you're following this long gravel road. Yep, easy. Then it says turn off Ship Road onto the Bibbleman track and follow 3 different sign markers. The Kalamunda, and then it tells you which sign markers. So you follow that.
Yeah.
The junction of the Rocky Pool Walk and the Bibbleman Track Walk.
Yes.
Turn left and walk up hill following the Bibbleman Walk trail signs.
That's
Yes.
I think you can. Yeah, you should. Follow that one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Little-
Getting
Yeah,
much for
okay.
me.
Sean's lost.
By this stage, we're just following another family in front of us. I'm like, I don't even know what dot point we're up to, right?
Yeah.
Number 4. Okay,
Yes.
riddle me this, Sean.
Right. Oh,
Leave the Bibbleman track, which continues off to the right up to George Jensen Park.
Oh, yes, I know where you are.
Instead, continue straight ahead, indicated by the blue trail markers.
Yeah, so don't go to Jorgensen Park. You need to veer off the other way.
That's a bit specific, so you'd think maybe go that way though. So that's a little bit confusing.
Anyway, we're lost.
Yeah.
So that phone, everything's away.
Yep.
A family's wandered off in front of us, and then we've come to this kind of like junction where it's open slather, and you're like, where do we go from here?
yeah.
Because Jorgensen
Yeah,
Park it used to be a golf course way back when, so it's got kind
okay,
of,
that
which
makes
is why,
sense,
there's kind of areas, but it's
Yes.
now overgrown. It's a dog exercise area as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, yeah. So it's
Yep.
kind of it's a weird layout, and
Yep.
it's a bit disconcerting because there'll be a clear area, and then you're like, where do we go from
Yeah.
here? But you shouldn't have been there. You should have gone the other way.
Yeah. Well, Alex is like, like,
It's far
well,
enough.
you tell me, like, you had the map.
Yeah, you
got
were
the
in
thing,
charge.
where were we turning?
Nothing brings a family together like being lost. And the kids, how were they responding?
Okay, so I
Just
think
screaming and running off into the bush.
at this stage it started really coming, like the rain started. So
fun.
So Alex is on the phone trying to work out where we are, and he's like, put in the Ship Road car park, and I'm like, yep, grabs the phone off me, and he's kind of walking up, then to the left, then back down again to the right. The kids are losing their marbles. Are we lost? Mum, Dad, what's going on?
And
Blah, blah, blah.
what did you say to Are We Lost?
Alex said, we are not lost. We just
Don't know where we are.
which way to go.
That's
You're
lost.
only
It's completely
you
different.
don't know where you're going. And
Yeah.
we know where we're going.
We know where you're going. That's true. We just don't know how to get there.
The thing is, my concern is I'm cool. I'm like,
Yes.
you know what? The thing is, what concerned me was how long we could potentially be walking.
Yeah.
back.
Well, the Bibbleman track finishes in Albany, so
Anyway, we kind of just found this rogue, off-road trail.
Yes.
So it's not even, there's no markers.
Yes.
You're going down these steep gorges like slate, kind of
Great.
slippery, rocky
Yeah.
things. And I'm like, kids, just take it easy. And
gravity will do most of the work.
we got there and it was only 5K. So
happy days.
happy days.
You're only supposed to do 4, I think, but it's
Being lost isn't much fun.
so funny though when you're in hindsight, when you know you're okay, it's all good, right?
Yeah.
Amy was saying this off air, how she got lost in this story. Sean, where did you get lost?
Karen up. On Friday.
You're not the first for that to happen, I
I'd never
imagine.
been there before. My wife
Yeah.
works up there, so I thought I'll go up
Yeah.
and see her on Friday.
Nice.
And I was like, what the hell? I don't know where I was.
Yes,
It's
that-
not my home ground,
There's a real trick to Karen up in that when you because there are so many ways you can get into that car park underneath, and then you need to remember which escalator you came up into the shopping centre. But you don't, because you're up and you're like, oh, there's bright lights.
Yeah.
It's all over the shop.
Yeah.
And then you just wander off, and then it's like, oh, God, time to go back to the car. Or, which escalator did I come up? And you're like, was it near the food court? I don't know. Where was it? Was it near David
Did you
Jones?
find
I
your
don't
car?
know.
Yeah, good luck with
Did
that.
you just leave your car there and go to Melbourne Mazda and
we-
get another one?
That's exactly what I did. Greg, you know where it is.
All right, we want to know, have you gotten lost? What happened when you got lost? How long were you lost for?
Was it in the bush? Was it in a shopping centre?
Did it
Was
bring the
another
family?
country?
Did it bring the family closer together? Or drive a wedge you've never recovered from? Here's Tracy. Hello.
Good morning, guys.
Hi, Trace.
When did you get lost, Trace?
We went to camping down in Denmark with the adult kids, grandkids, and our younger kids. And I thought, late at night, go with the granddaughter's little lantern torch and the kettle. I'll just go and fill it up near the kitchenette toilet block.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's straight ahead. I know where I'm going. But no, 45 minutes later, I'm wandering around with a kettle and a children's lantern, going to other people's tents because I'm thinking, they sound like my grandkids. No.
You got lost in a campground.
Yes.
Oh, Tracy.
Trouble is, all those tents do look the same.
Yeah, but nobody came looking for me.
No.
That's hurtful.
We wondered where you were, Mum.
Oh, not enough to look for you, but
No.
still, we
No, not
wondered.
enough to look for me. So, but 45 minutes around a camp, I was actually starting to get quite panicky because I'm like, where on earth am I? I had no idea. Every road looked the same at night time and every tent looked the same.
You know, it's the tent near the tree.
Stuff that, Tracy, yeah.
Yeah, you
no
didn't want a
way.
cup of tea that badly. Oh, that's a heartbreaking tale. Thank you, Trace. Jackie's in Leeming. Morning, Jack.
Good morning. How are you?
Great,
Hi, Jackie.
Jackie. Did you get lost?
We got very lost. We were doing a family holiday. We were driving from San Francisco down to LA along the Big Sur. And we'd heard that further down the track, the road had been blocked off from rock falls or something, so we had to take this other turn called the Nacimiento Ferguson Drive.
Whoa, that's
Never forget. Yeah.
I said it's quite a bit further, but if you don't go that way, you've got to go all the way back up the way you came and go a different way. So
Yep.
we thought, let's give it a whirl. Turned off on this road. It was getting late in the afternoon. We're driving, and it's these really sharp hairpin bends up with this cliff drop off. It's getting really quite hairy, and there was a few cars behind us and in front of us, and you have to, pull over right to the edge to let cars go past and things. Then eventually it's starting to get dark. There's not many cars around. There's not many signs, and we thought we're not really sure if we're on the right road, but there hasn't been anywhere that told us to turn off anywhere.
Yeah.
So we just keep going. It's getting pitch black. Our GPS runs out. No phone service, and we thought, well, there's no other way we could have gone. We just have to keep going. Eventually, there's water across the road. We have to get out to make sure it's not like
Deep enough so you can get past.
Yeah. That we got over that, and then eventually we saw some lights ahead. We thought, yay, we're there. No, it's a freaking army base. There were these armed guards came out to meet us, and they said, "Where the hell are you going?" We go, "Well,
We don't know."
to LA. We're like middle of nowhere. Eventually they kind of pointed us roughly in the direction we needed to go. We eventually sort of made it to the hotel we were meant to be staying at. Like 3 hours or 4 hours later. It was terrifying. We were literally shaking. It was really quite scary at the time.
Yeah, once the army gets involved.
It wasn't at the time.
Did they have armed? They were armed.
Yes.
They were armed.
Yeah,
they
you were lost.
came out and stopped it. Yeah, we were very lost. We were starting to get a little bit Wolf Creek as well.
Yes, of course.
So, middle of nowhere.
Oh,
yeah,
not for me,
I'm
Jackie.
glad he survived.
Yeah, no one would have known where we were.
No, that's right. That's right. No one would have come looking for you. Thanks, Jackie. Danny from Edgewater, hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning,
Hey,
Danny.
Dan. Okay, what happened? Where'd you get lost?
Karen Up Shopping Centre.
Oh, as well. You and Sean just
Mate, it's
driving
jungle
around.
out there.
For you, Sean.
How did you get lost?
We don't go there very often at all. We're from more north.
Yeah.
And me and my sister thought, we'll go have a sister day out, we'll go shopping, and we'll leave just enough time to get back up to Edgewater to pick the kids up from school.
Sure.
They're all at the same school. Anyway, we get out. We cannot find the car anywhere. We start panicking. Can't find it anywhere. We had to call our mum and get her to go from her house to pick all the kids up from school because we could not find our car anywhere. And then eventually we found the ladies that we were like, I think we parked next to her. We saw her when we parked in and we're like, excuse me, we think we parked near you. She's like, oh, I recognise you guys. So she had to walk us back to our car because we had no idea where we were.
Escorted.
They literally, Karen actually needs to employ somebody whose job it is to help people that have lost their cars. I mean,
Absolutely. It's a trap. It's a trap.
yeah, because it happens to everyone.
Oh, Amy was saying that she walked around to every car park.
right around the perimeter. I know, amazing.
That is a good thing, Nat, if they
that's
had
right.
that.
Some sort of
like a car
parking
valet
concierge. I know they do have valet parking for if you're a rich person, but for just the regular person, you can go up and say, help, I'm lost. And then they take you, they hold your hand and they walk you and they talk you through where you might have parked, which entrance you came in. They figure it out. They know, or they've got, I don't know, some way of like looking at the cameras and they can tell you where your car is.
That is a great idea.
Yeah. Get onto it, Karen Up, to save Danny and
Shawnee.
And Sean.
I'm sure we're not the only one.
No, I know you're not the only ones. Thanks, everybody.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.